Hello everyone, welcome back. So in previous lecture, we have written business logic to insert the data in database, right? So here, instead of setting data manually from user DTO to entity, let's create a component called model mapper. So for that, we have to add dependency. So what the dependency will do? So model mapper dependency can perform converting data from DTO to entity and entity to DTO. So let me add the dependency. Model mapper. How we can add the dependency? Go to the browser and type model mapper Maven repository. That's it. So very first link came right. Just click on that model mapper. And let me take latest version of model mapper and copy the dependency, and we have to add it into pom.xml. So let me add it here. Organize the code, Control Shift F, and this is not needed. And yeah, dependency added successfully. So whenever we add the dependency, so make sure we have to update the Maven project. Right click on the project and Maven and update. So then only our dependencies can reload into our application. Yeah, that's it. So now this is not needed this class. Now go to our service layer. Let me create the component called model mapper. So we can directly create model mapper inside that also. So let me show you model mapper. You can see right, model mapper is equal to new model mapper. So like this also we can create, but problem here is, so once you deploy this application in your server, what will happen? So as many whenever you are calling this save user method, every time this object will be created, right? So if you 100 times 100 users are created, then 100 objects, 100 model mapper objects will be created. So that will be not good, right? So better create always one single object in multi-threaded environment. So that's the reason I'm going to create one component, and that component will create component object will be created by Spring Boot, and as a singleton object. So that object we can use it here to map DTO to entity. So let me delete from here. So let me create package called util package. So components we have to create inside the util package. It's up to you guys. You can create new package, and you can create inside the service layer also you can create, but generally we should create in all the components better create in util package. I'm going to create some util package, and inside that I want to create model mapper. Let's give application related app model mapper. I'm giving name as a app model mapper, and click on finish button. Some people may have doubts, sir, why we are creating separate class? So what will happen? So we can't auto while model mapper by using Spring Boot here. So that is the reason we have to create it as a component, and then that component can have model mapper object, and we can use that one. Okay, that is the reason we are not using it here. So now inside the model mapper we can add, we can declare this model mapper as a component, declare annotation component, and then create model mapper object. Model mapper is equal to new model mapper. That's it. So now let me write the some utility methods. What are the methods? So these utility methods are, we have to, what is our main goal here? So here we have to convert, why we added a model mapper dependency. So we have to convert a user DTO to entity. So for that purpose we have added model mapper. So converting user detail user DTO to entity, let me create one utility method. Public, it should return user DTO, and let me write generic method DTO to entity. Just generic method I am creating, DTO to entity. So we just use model mapper dot map. We have to pass here, we have to pass user DTO object. So we are going to convert user DTO to entity. Here we need to pass user DTO, and here we need to pass user entity dot class. That's it. So this should return converting DTO to entity. So this should return entity actually. So because we are converting DTO to entity, right? So this method should return user entity. That's it. So similarly, let's create a entity to DTO as well. So we can use in we can use it in future. So vice versa, user entity to DTO and DTO to entity. So here entity to DTO. So here we need entity to DTO, right? So here we have to pass user entity and user entity to DTO, and this should be user DTO dot class. That's it. This method should return user DTO. Some people may get confused, sir. How do I know which I have to return? So since here map, right? So here what is the meaning of this DTO to entity? So model mapper dot DTO to entity. So first argument should be DTO and second argument should be your entity dot class. Similarly here we are trying to entity to DTO. So this method argument should have entity, and first argument should be entity to DTO dot class, and this method will be return user DTO, and this method will return entity. So that's it. Now app model mapper, we can use it in service layer. So now private app model mapper, let's import control shift O app model mapper, control space app model mapper. That's it. So why I did like this? So we have to auto wire this one time. The moment we start the server, model mapper object will be created only once, one singleton object. So this object can be used in multi-threaded environment. If 100 requests, 100, if you create 100 users, so same one object only is going to create, right? So now what is the requirement here? So we have to save user information. So for that we need to pass user entity to user jp repository dot save method. So instead of setting data manually, what we can do, so we can use model mapper. Model mapper dot map, or we already created one generic method, right? DTO to entity. Call that method DTO to entity and then pass DTO. This will return user entity equal. Why this is returning here? This should be app model mapper. That's it. So this entity we are going to pass as part of save method. So now we can save the data successfully. So go to the controller. So data will come to save user method, and we are calling service dot save user, and then save user method is being called, and the data will go to service layer, and in service layer we are just converting DTO to entity, and after that we are passing this entity to save method. So let me start the server to insert the data. Let me open the database. Before inserting data, let me see, open the table. There is no data available in database, right? Let me start the server. Server started successfully. Now we can send the data, right? So let me refresh the browser. So what is the URL registration page? So user registration form. A web page loaded successfully. So now let me pass Rasul Sheikh Java J2EE dot Rasul at gmail.com. Password test at 123. Click on submit button. Yeah, save user method is called, and we can see, open the database and refresh the table. See, data inserted successfully. Data inserted successfully. So Rasul is inserted, right? Email, first name, last name, and password. So but sir, how we can confirm data is saved in database without seeing the database? So we have to show some success message, right? We have to show success message to end user saying that user details saved successfully, or user registration successful message. How we can show that message? So we have to set the message in controller. User controller. Once we save the data, how we can carry data to JSP? So the moment we send the request from JSP to JSP to controller, so data is came to user DTO. So now once user is saved successfully, we are returning same registration page, right? So in this registration page we have to display success message. So to carry that success message we need a map. Use the map of normal map, guys. Map of string comma object. Map. So now we just need to set this map or model, anything you can give. So let me stop the server as let it run, not a problem. So now map is ready, right? So this is used to carry success message to JSP. So map dot put. So what we have to put here, let me put a generic message. This message we have to display whether it is success or failure. So this message we have to display in JSP. So message, and I am going to, for the timing I am going to hard code the value. User registered successfully. That's it. So now, so this message we have to give it in JSP. So JSP, there is a expression, right? So expression called, with the help of expression we are going to display. So to print the expression is nothing but dollar within the open bracket and close bracket curly brace inside that. So this is how we have to display, but so this will not display directly, so we have to use uh, JSTL Java Server Tag libraries. So to display the data in JSP, success messages or failure messages, so we have to add JSTL, so then we can display the data, right? See further, as of now this expression is not able to recognize. You can see it is clearly saying some error, right? So we have to add JSTL Java Server Tag libraries. So for that we need to add dependencies again. So to use JSTL tags, we have to add dependency in pom.xml. So let me add the dependency. So to use JSTL tags, we have to add two dependencies, guys. I already make it note here. You can see there is a two dependencies. One is Jakarta Servlet JSP JSTL API. So this is the API we need to add to use JSTL tags, right? So JSTL API and its implementation will be, the JSTL implementation will be available in glassfish-JSTL. So we need to add these two dependencies in pom.xml. If you don't find this, you can go to your Maven repository and just type JSTL API and glassfish.jstl, and you can copy from that Maven central. So for the time being, I'm just copying to save the time. And now go to your pom.xml. So inside that we need to add the dependency, these two dependencies, to make use of Java Server Tag libraries. So save it. The moment you save, so jars will be downloaded into your local Tomcat repository. So make sure whenever we are modifying the XML, so then we have to update the Maven project. Update project and click on select force update, and our Maven project will be updated, and all these two jars will be added to our project. So now make sure, guys, these two jars are needed to make use of JSTL tags. So now let me add the tag. What is the tag? C colon. You can see there is a tag lib. Copy this tag lib. Prefix should be, this should be JSTL core library, guys. So JSTL core library we have to add it into our JSP file to print the expressions. Now go to your registration JSP, just add it here on top of the page. Just save your page, and now we can print this expression. You can see now there is no error. So earlier it is showing exception, right? So before adding dependencies, it is showing some red color mark because this expression is not recognized. So after adding dependencies, and now expression is not showing error. So we can display this. How we can display? So Let's try as is now, or let me make use of C prefix. So now we have a tag by using C colon out. There is a C colon out and value attribute is available. So inside that we can print the expression. Just close it and save that. So here I want to display within the div, some div I will take to display some color styling of message. That's it. So now here I want to show that I want to define the color for that message. Color I will give as of now, let me give green color, and also I want to declare it as a bold. Let me show that message as bold. That's it. So now this message where we have configured, this message is available in controller. So the moment you save the user details, so in map, right, so this property is being set in the map. This map is nothing but model. This is another model, guys. Okay, so inside that map we have configured message. Then this message can be displayed in JSP with the help of expression. So dollar slash message, this is an expression. So by using expression we can display the successful message. So let me start the server. I think server already in starting mode. Let me refresh the JSP. What is URL? User registration form. Click on enter. User registration form. Why? So there was an unexpected error in JSP. Something errors. So absolute URI, it is unable to recognize JSTL core. Why? So let me stop the server. So sometimes the moment you add the dependency, so this tags library is not recognized, right? So let me update the project again. Right click and Maven and update. Click on update. So JSTL library is not recognizing. So now let me start the server. Now should work. The server started successfully, and let me refresh the page. See, now we can see our JSP displayed successfully. So whenever you are getting exception, so that what is happening earlier, so it is showing JSTL tag library is not found. So why? Because so the moment we add the dependencies in pom.xml, we must update the project. So earlier Maven project is not updated properly. So just right click on the project and Maven and update and click on force update and click on OK. So then your project will be updated with latest jar files. So whatever new jar files, new dependencies which we have added into pom.xml, those jars will be added to our project, right? Project library. So these two dependencies are needed to display expressions in JSP by using Java Server Tag libraries. JSTL nothing but Java Server Tag libraries. Now let me save another user. How many users are there in database? Let me check. As of now, one user is available. Let me create another user. um, Sachin Tendulkar, and mail ID I will give sachin at gmail.com, and password I will give sachin at 123. Click on submit button. Yeah, you can see, right, user registered successfully message. So user registered successfully, so this message we have to display in center. How we can display? let me align properly that success message. So just use same div method which we are displaying here, center align center, right? Same div we can use it for C colon out. No, here already we are using div, right? So here you can just give text align center. Now just refresh the page, or let me create a new user, we'll see. uh, Let me use user registration from starting onwards. Now let me create another user, Virat Kohli, and Virat at Virat at gmail.com. So it is not able to type, so let me copy at the rate. This is my laptop issue, guys, you no need to bother. Sometimes whenever I'm typing at the rate it's not working, that's the reason I'm just copying it. Virat at gmail.com. Let me give password as a Virat at 123. Click on submit button. See, now user registered successfully. So in this lecture we have inserted the data successfully. So in this lecture you people are learn how to convert a DTO to entity, and also you guys are learned how to send data from JSP to controller, and we have inserted the data, and we have written business logic in service layer. So in next lecture we will create login page to use user details to login. Okay, so we'll catch you in next lecture. Like this we are going to create the projects. We'll create one mini project, guys, so you guys have to practice every day, otherwise it is very difficult. Okay, so make sure you guys are practicing every day. So who are all watching newly, you can subscribe my channel, youtube.com/rasulsheikh/playlist. So there is a channel called Java Cafeteria, and you can subscribe and watch all the videos and all the concepts I am going to upload in this channel. You can learn Spring Boot, Angular, JS, microservices, writing JUnit test cases, and Mockito framework, and Spring Security and JWT and etc. projects. Okay, so etc. concepts I am going to upload in this channel. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe and share. Thank you, guys. We'll catch you in next lecture.